So, Amax, you and I had this conversation a couple months ago about two gun, and I actually
Hmm.
went and shot a club match in two gun.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
Two gun is, I think it's a paradox. I really don't know what to think of it. There definitely is a vocal group that's interested in having it. We see Max Lee Grandis, putting on some events with PCSL. We have tactical games. We have, you're seeing it on the club scene like you're seeing out there. We have some club interest in our area. We in local to me in Wisconsin, we had some challenges around our local three gun scene, just having enough people come out to a match in the recent years. And so one of the things that was thrown out from USPSA guys is, well, we would shoot two gun, we just don't want to learn shotguns. Do some two gun matches. And so the idea
Well,
was like,
and
well,
that's
maybe.
something that we've heard for years, right?
Mhm.
And you and I had this saying like a long time ago that two gun is an excuse, right?
Mhm.
And when, sorry to interrupt, but that's what I do. But when, God, I'm trying to remember who it was. But anyway, USSL had their two gun division, right? And the only
Mhm.
people that I ever saw shooting two gun were people that wanted a championship belt
We're
in.
three gunners.
But yeah, exactly. We're three gunners that wanted a championship belt, but didn't want to go shoot
Yep.
tack or whatever.
They wanted
Yep.
that medal.
Minnesota three gun group, they would put on a two gun match at the end of the season every year. It was only three gunners that showed up. And honestly, they put it on so late in the year that really is just everyone's fingers were cold. But
It was always deer opener though, so
there's that
it's
too.
cold and nobody wanted to quad load. So let's just
But
do a shotgun for a week.
I was kind of like, I think I'm a three gunner, right? I like three gun. Now I've shot some two gun. I've shot every one of Max's two gun major two gun matches, and he does a good job. And I think he's the first one that's really done it in an interesting way, if I even dare say so.
But it's
But
like you always say, like if you're going to put a match on the schedule, it has to be something unique and interesting, right? It can't just be the same
right,
old stuff.
right.
Yep.
But I was like, you know what, and coming out of the COVID years, we're in a recession. Shotgun ammo was hard to find. The biggest complaint at the Wisconsin State match last year was shotgun ammo was hard to find,
And it was.
and we had low turnout. We had an okay number, but it was a low turnout. And so looking at this year, and I was actually talking to the guys at American Defense Manufacturing. We were next to each other at a SWAT conference, and they're like, "Well, what if we do a two gun match?" And so we had the idea, in being involved like we are with nationals and trying to get the long gun and multi gun programs going in USPSA to try and bring some unity together on all this stuff. I was like, well, maybe we should do an Area 5 multi-gun match, but instead of doing a multi-gun match, so we're talking the Wisconsin State three-gun championship. I thought, well, what if we make it a USPSA match, so to try and bring us under that umbrella, and then what if we try a two-gun match? So we'll try and do our match as the same match we always do, but we'll do it as a two-gun match, and we have a very active USPSA scene in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, right? So I was like, well, maybe we do an Area 5 two-gun match, and we will get some crossover from the USPSA crowd. And for those who haven't heard, that didn't work out. Not nobody, very, very, very few people signed up for it. The club that was going to host it essentially said we need 80 paid shooters to sign up. We got to 55, and a lot of those were staff. So
For a national level match too.
yeah, for a level 3, and so I've kind of arrived at, and I was talking with somebody. I was talking to Kellen about this. And I basically arrived at, it's two gun is I don't know anybody that's going to come right out and say two guns dumb, right? Like no one's going to say, oh, two guns stupid. And they're like, oh yeah, two gun, that'd be nice. I don't think very many people will cross the street to play it. I
It
think
was
if they have the weekend open, if it's close to me, if my lawn's already mowed, if I have the ammo, lack of a better idea, people will play two gun. I have not seen anyone passionately interested in two gun to the point where they sign up for it. I mean, the guys who convinced me at our local club, our USPSA club, they didn't sign up for it. I'm like, this is a freaking idea.
That's what I love to hear is the people. It's funny. Like we used to have this saying when we'd go shoot in the woods or go camping or go run a Spartan race. One of my friends and I, and it was everybody wants to go, but nobody's ready to leave.
Right.
Everyone's like, oh yeah, I'll go. But then when it's time to leave, there's two of us standing in the friggin' parking lot.
Yeah, and I was doing a bunch of media, or I've done a bunch of media for Multi-Gun Nationals. I've been invited on other podcasts, and a couple of them asked me point blank. They're like, "What's up with 3-gun, and why is shotgun dead?" And I was like, I don't think we have the stats to support that because there's 3 times more people signed up for 3-gun than there is for 2-gun. Like in the same market, in the same relatively same time of year. And all that stuff. Like it was a traditional match that has been held. And just the interest wasn't there. I mean, I got guys at National USPSA. They're like, oh, we're so glad you're doing that match. We get asked all the time. We're sending people your way. And I'm like, well, send them because like we're trying to decide if we're doing this thing or not. And they just never.
I have 3 thoughts on this. So I shot 2-gun nationals last year. It was PCC 9mm pistol, right?
Yep.
This was minor scoring multi-gun. That was a lot of fun. That was a great match. But so many people were like, oh, this would be so good if there was a carbine. This is so good if there's or like a real carbine, not a what's my favorite rifle caliber rifle? RCR.
Rifle caliber rifle.
Yeah. So if we were racing RCRs, this would be so much better. And it didn't happen. Like that was supposed to take the place of the old 2-gun Nats was the Area 5 2-gun championship, right?
Well, we were just trying to do an area championship, and like we were glad they weren't going to do a 2-gun again. The reason the 2-gun happened was because they needed a multi-gun nationals, but they couldn't have it at Cameo, so the only other venue they could get was Talladega. Talladega wouldn't let them shoot rifles, so they had to do PCC pistol.
Oh, okay. All right.
And when you talk to the people that know, that's why they did it.
Okay, so more anecdotal. Again, I got 3 things. Okay, my second one, and no offense if you're listening, but I watch practice score, I watch scores and everything, and I have not seen more than 5 tactical games competitors shoot a different match other than tactical games, and 3 of those were 3-gunners to begin with. So I don't see a lot of crossover there. Now, that said, sport's still really new, yes. So there is the potential there, but I don't see a lot of crossover. Now, I always wonder about like the Lucas Botkin crowd. Like, where the F are those guys? But I think once you put that USPSA label on something, it might not appeal to them. Now,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, we had some of that crowd, some of the people we were trying to get signed up, like because that Schultz Gun Club actually does an outlaw carbine match, club match fairly regularly. Dude, and they'll say they sell it out, right? So they get 60, 70 people will show up on a weekend. Well, why didn't those people sign up?
That boggles my mind.
He had Jay had some people tell him point blank they called him a FUD, which he's not old enough to be a FUD, but Jay Hollingsworth was called a FUD because he was trying to put on a USPSA multi-gun match. And they're like, well, you just take that USPSA off there and we'll sign up. Like, really? Like, that's your issue, huh? That's your hang up? Like,
that's so weird. Like, they don't even – were those children? Do they not
even know what they're
saying?
Means? It's like, so what? You want to run a hot range? Well, no. Okay. So you don't want to score the targets? Well, no. And so it's like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, if they're running an outlaw carbine match, like, where did they get their rules to begin with? Like, a lot of them actually come from the USPSA multi-gun rulebook.
Yep. And so I think ultimately the reason Area 5 didn't go, I mean, reading the tea leaves, it made sense at the time and it kind of wanted to make it happen. I think the Venn diagram of it is like, yes, we're still in a recession. All right. So we still, all the shooting sports are getting a little burned right now. We had a bunch of three gunners who didn't, I took it for granted that three gunners would cross over. I was like, well, if we put on a major match in their area, they would rather three gun, but I feel like they would shoot two gun instead of no gun. Well, they opted for no gun.
It's weird because you and I've talked about this quite a bit offline. I feel like this might be a regional thing because Jay Christensen, Texas shooter, good friend, talked to him quite a bit as well. And his thing is like, I shoot all the Texas matches and then I fill in what else I can shoot from there. And Texas three gunners, how about that? Texas three gunners will shoot anything. Like they go shoot the Sons of Liberty Gunworks match. They're shooting TAC 2 gun this weekend. They shoot the
Dragons Club. They're shooting the Infinity Pistol match.
Clash Bash. But three gunners go do that. Like they'll just shoot anything in Texas. And so sorry, man, I keep thinking about this FUD thing. Like that's one of my favorite slurs. And it was misused in that case. It just bugs me.
Well, what's funny is I actually looked it up. Like, what was the first appearance of Elmer Fudd? And I believe it was in the 30s.
Yeah.
So they were making fun of Fudds, who were the old hunter guys in the 30s.
It's a little different, but
right?
I think modern
character has been transgenerational.
I think modernly, in modern ways, we use that as a reference to Elmer Fudd, like it's self-referential at this point. But yeah, I get it. All right, I have more anecdotal data. You guys ready?
Yeah.
I got more to throw at you too when you're done.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I just same type of data because I mean I put on a match with a couple of guys weekly. Every Wednesday night we do a little three gun thing, right? And then we also have the MN3 gun group and stuff puts on their monthly matches. So the last monthly match we had, they've added a 2-gun category to get more of the tactical game shooters there and everything, right? So they even call it tactical games division. You can wear plate carry, you can do all of it. You know how many people shot that division last month, Dave? Adam, you got a guess?
4.
1.
Damn.
And it was the match director.
It was Sean.
No, it was Jomar. Sean shot heavy. Sean shot heavy. Right. So we had one guy shoot 2-gun, and we changed targets to be like, hey, let's try not to have too many pipes and things like we like to shoot up here in Minnesota so that people don't have too many targets they can't shoot with their pistol or rifle, right? One person shot.
Ready to address that.
We've now had a month of Wednesday nights going this year already. We added modified last year, right? So now on a Wednesday night, we have a little group of like 30 guys that shoot. We do open, modified, TAC, limited. We don't do 2-gun on Wednesdays. Up until last night, we had one person shoot limited. We had one person. This is for all 4 matches, by the way. One person shot limited. One person shot TAC. Like 60 people shot modified, and like 75 people shot open.
Huh.
Is that crazy? Like, people are saying you're going to ruin TAC. You're going to ruin TAC with that with that little red dot, right?
They said so many mean things about us, Dave.
What's funny is look at how many people are shooting modified now. I mean, look at Texas 3-gun championship. Look at all that other stuff too. We have people are shooting what they want to shoot when they want to shoot, right? And that kind of still plays into the 2-gun. People said we needed to add this division, and they said they're going to show up, and they show up for like one match, and then all of a sudden they're just like they're not there anymore. Or they're shooting something else, or they're having fun playing with a different gun.
That part I don't understand. Okay, let me go to my anecdotal evidence, and I further submit this as this is a regional thing. So, Superstition Mystery Mountain 3-gun stealth 2-gun division, 101 in stealth 2-gun, 101 in stealth 2-gun
down in Rio Salado. Yeah. And big names too. Lots of people there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't there, but I guess there's some big names here.
I've heard Nils first of all shoot a gun.
Yeah, for sure.
He's
And
not a slouch.
exactly. So that's first of all, that's anecdotal, but that's also exciting. Like shit, that's a ton of people. Okay, so this is the club match that I shot, and again, don't let me forget the pipes. This is the club match that I shot. It was stinking cold, and I was getting ready at the last minute. So I'm like, you know what? Max and I were just talking about how no one's shooting two gun. I'm going to shoot two gun. So I shot two gun. Oh, I meant to do overalls to look at how many people shot. My bad. Here we go. Computer's running a little slow because we've been talking for a while. Okay, so 48 people at our club match, and this is the same match that I first started shooting three gun at. So kind of nostalgic. Oh, hey, look at that! Dave won two gun. Good for me.
Woo!
And then so 12 people in two gun division. Okay, out of 48, so 1/4 of the match in two gun. By the way, we added modified. This is they added modified. And this is the very first match that modified was a division. And our boy Andrew Durkee won. Good job, Andrew. 10 people.
Wow. 10 people at the first match they offered it?
At the very first match they offered it. So this is tack shooter, tack shooter, tack shooter. Like they all were like, oh, modified's a thing. I'm going to shoot modified. So,
and open only had
seven people in open. So what you just saw there were the three biggest divisions. So two gun was the biggest division at this match. Modified was the second.
Wow.
And this is Rio, or this is your club match?
No, this is club match.
Yeah,
that's why there's only 7 shooters in open. Yeah, so that's a club match. So biggest division.
This is in Colorado, Dave, or Wyoming?
This is northern Colorado. This is Greeley, Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like you're saying, I see this as regional because, like, if you look at Rio Salado, Arizona, PCSL, Soft and Sided is an example. Yep. Well, that's really St. George, Utah. Yep. But St. George draws from Vegas, California, and that whole southwestern region, very centrally located in that area. But outside of that area, I don't see it. Like it's an interesting format, but the interest didn't carry over. And like what I like about three gun is that it's kind of that golf bag mentality of like it's you have to use all the tools to solve a problem. I don't really care what the shotgun's relevant for. It's an interesting gun in and of itself, and it poses interesting marksmanship challenges. So that's why I like it. And
you don't need to defend three for sure.
Yeah, when it goes away, same thing when we were talking about PCC back in the day. Like, we need to make matches so that people can shoot their PCCs. It's like, well, so the three gun got watered down to accommodate these people. Same thing with two gun. The three gun got watered down so that we can have two gun. Well, in accommodating these people that don't really show up to matches in force, we made the game that we all love. We made it Diet Coke, essentially.
And this isn't the first time. We did it with 2x4. We're doing it with two gun. Like we keep doing that ebb and flow.
Well,
but yet everybody that's sticking around are the three gunners.
2x4 and two gun happened at the same time in USSL, but I agree. Like the worst thing that USSL did was introduce 2x4. It is just an abomination. But and I stand by it. But
well, hey, you're still here. And they're not.
Oh, well, unfortunately, 2x4 infected other matches. That's the problem. Like you just saw there was 2x4 in this match, for God's sake.
Hey, COVID's everywhere, man. Like
exactly. There's a lab leak of 2x4. So, all right. So look at this column here, guys.
I see you're showing here, Dave. Though I want to see what you're showing us here.
What does that say?
Two gun, 2-second penalty. So if you shot two gun, they just gave you a 2-second penalty for every shotgun target?
Yes.
I like this. I mean, that's better than
why
trying to keep everybody happy with the scores at the end of the day. And say, the two gun won because you skipped 15 targets.
There you go. Right there. That's the problem. Everyone is hung up on overall for no fucking reason.
Yep.
Like, we have divisions. Like, we don't race the same car. We don't race Miatas against Porsches. They're in different divisions. We don't have like a Porsche at the end of the day going, oh, I beat all you Miata guys. They're different divisions. So
That's a good point.
This is also part of a 3-match series in Colorado. The other 2 matches do not do the 2-second penalty thing.
Well, and
the
that's
match
They have 2-gun?
I'm sorry?
But they have 2-gun?
Yes, they all have the same divisions, same rule set, except for this one thing, which is the penalties.
Okay.
That's
weird.
What they do in other matches is they just tell you, skip those targets.
Yep.
If you're shooting 2-gun, don't shoot these targets. No big deal, right?
MBD.
So that I thought was ridiculous.
Yeah,
and Kevin, I know you just said like you don't want the 2-gun guys to win overall, which I don't understand.
Oh no,
but
I
understand.
Care. It's the other people that bitch saying he only won because of this.
But
and people do
he
it.
won his own division.
Yeah,
like exactly. It doesn't matter.
When I first saw that penalty, I thought of it from a stage designer. Like, I'm building stages on a weekly basis, putting them on the ground, and I'm like, okay, well, there's something to help these people that I hear on the range next to me all the time. But you're totally right. Why does it matter when you look at the division? Like, that is one thing that for a little while there, I think UML was doing right. UML had it to where it didn't even have the combined when you pulled up practice score. She just showed open, tack, limited, 2x4, whatever. Yeah,
I agree. And I had a long conversation with the match directors about this. And one of the things that I told them was like, hey, think of like, do you want these people here? Because if you look at the 2-gun division, I was the only 3-gunner. All the other people were 2-gun specific dudes that don't ordinarily. Oh, whoops. That's not how you navigate practice score, apparently. But
you hit the X, right X.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So they're actually Sean would shoot 3-gun. All the rest of these guys, these are 2-gun specific people. These are people that wouldn't ordinarily shoot 3-gun. So they came out to shoot 2-gun. Now, if you start a new person or a person that doesn't typically shoot your match, someone who's new to your event, if you start them off with penalties as they walk in the door, just because you don't like their gear, do you think they're going to come back? Do you think that's a good customer experience? Now, I'm going to come back. I'm going to shoot probably 3 other divisions this year. But the guys that are new, the guys that, and you guys remember your first match. Like, I mean, one of the greatest stories is Lan and Mike, who own Distant Arms now, successful business owners who put open shotguns in the hands of, hundreds of shooters all over the world,
including Adam and I.
Including Adam and you guys. And, in many, many countries around the world, they tell the story that they almost turned around from their first 3-gun event, and it was a training event with the Noveski shooting team. And they thought, we shouldn't be here. And the only reason they went in is because a truck came up behind them and didn't give them an out. They had to go in. Think of what the whole 3-gun landscape would be missing if those guys had turned around right there.
Oh, I know.
So now we're talking about all these new people, and we're going to give them penalties, and we don't want them in the match. We don't want them doing well.
And that was my hope with the Area 5 was I wanted area matches that culminated in a national championship. And multi-gun doesn't have to be 3-gun. So maybe some of the area matches could be 2-gun matches. But if you get people in USPSA who want, because people in USPSA tend to think only in terms of USPSA. So it's like, oh, well, USPSA is giving me permission to shoot 2-gun now. And then you shoot 2-gun, and then it's like, oh, man, this multi-gun stuff's kind of fun. Well, I'd like to go to Nationals. Well, Nationals is a 3-gun championship. Okay, well, I was hoping to create the gateway to other segments of the format that already exist. It just requires a club to put it on. And like I say, I mean, this is a decision that's not even a week old yet, so I'm still a little bitter about it. But like, it just didn't happen. We had lots of cool stuff in mind. We were going to score at hit factor, so we were going to do hit factor scoring on the targets. Had stages planned out and everything. What's that?
That'd be cool. Very IPSC like.
Yeah. So, like I say, I mean, it takes a tribe. Like I said last year at the I think all the matches I was involved with, I was like, these matches happen because communities want them. Well, what the community told me is they don't want this. So, we'll focus elsewhere. But two gun.
I want to know from the audience. So if you're into two gun, if you would shoot two gun, put your money where your mouth is, put it in the comments. If you think you'd shoot two gun, but you wouldn't actually show up, put that in the comments. And if you only want to stay with three gun, go ahead and put that in the comments as well. Let us know.